Hello and welcome to Traction Stories. Today we have Mitchell Tan, who has built Kondo, a SaaS that helps you solve the problem of the shitty LinkedIn inbox. And he grew Kondo to 1,000 paying customers in a few months only, and without investing a single dollar on sales and marketing, only through referrals. We're going to dive into how he got the idea, built the initial momentum, and got traction by leveraging referrals. Make sure to subscribe and to like the video. I'm your host, Gaspar Pastural. I'm a product marketing consultant for B2B SaaS founder and go-to-market teams, and I wish you a nice episode. Let's get started. Hi, Mitchell. I'm glad to have you here.
Yep, nice to be here.
Yeah, for our listeners, I'm one of Kondo's customers, so I'm a bit biased based by how the tool is so great. So I'm gonna ask a few questions. I'm trying to be really objective here. And yeah, can we maybe get off with what is Kondo?
Yeah, basically LinkedIn's inbox is crap, right? If you're serious about LinkedIn or building your business there, you'll probably like either be sending or getting a bunch of DMs, and it's really hard to stay organized. Many power users find themselves missing things, losing things, forgetting to follow up. So Kondo is like the inbox, you LinkedIn should have built but never did, right? We basically turn your LinkedIn DMs into something more like Gmail, right? Where you can organize things by folders, you can label things, right? We also inspired by Superhuman and have a lot of like keyboard shortcuts, right? Where help you stay focused and be hyper productive and get through DMs much faster.
Well, I'm sold. I'm a customer already, so I know how efficient it is. So thanks for the intro. I'm gonna put a few images to show the tool. It's quite powerful. We have a lot that I want to discuss today. I want to talk about how you grew, especially through almost 1,000 customers in a few months without spending a cent in marketing. That's quite impressive. But maybe can we just start from the foundation? Say, how did you get this idea? We know the problem, but how did you get the idea?
Yeah, so I experienced the problem myself, right? I used to work in startups for a while, like ran a business, and a lot of my work was like reaching out to people on LinkedIn. And obviously, it was very important to me that when people respond, like, they get like we get to them fast, right? And we don't like miss any opportunities just because we forget to follow up. So for years, had some form of a spreadsheet or a Notion table or something like that, where I like keep track of the important people that we were messaging, and then I would like cross-reference that table all the time to make sure, we're following up with everyone. And that obviously was kind of silly because nobody spreadsheets their email, right? Like this was the only thing. This is the only messaging thing I was like spreadsheeting, and I felt like there had to be a better way. And actually, I went shopping. I was like, let's go find all the tool. I'm sure someone has built a tool, right? Let's go. Um, I actually, and then there are some like LinkedIn CRM kind of tools. There are some like LinkedIn automation tools which also like help you with some messages. So I tried a bunch of them. So yeah, I was a paying customer for some of these tools out there. And really what I found was like they had a lot more features than what I need, and then the thing that I really needed, wasn't really their focus, right? I didn't need to automate my messages. I didn't need like a full CRM. I really just wanted, again, like turn my LinkedIn inbox into how I did email, for example, right? And yeah, the tools didn't do that very well, and I guess finally I decided, hey, if no one's gonna build it, then let me do it.
Oh, that's cool. I like that you found a gap. So the problem that you had personally, you tried it to try to fix it, and you were frustrated with your solution that were on the market, and you built yours. And that's to me really a precise example of the best practice to have when you're building a SaaS from scratch. You're fully bootstrapped, right?
Yeah, it's me and my co-founder. Yeah, haven't raised any money. Um, yeah, we previously like worked together, so yeah, had some kind of like savings from those things we ran. But yeah, it's doing okay.
And you switched right away to being full time on this?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it is a full-time job. Actually, I do see, I mean, every now and then there's an indie hacker who shows up who like It's like, oh, this inbox looks broken, let's go build it. And there've been like a handful of projects that I've also like seen in the past. I think that's fine, but like it's actually like a more complicated product than meets the eye when you dig into it. Yeah, I don't think you can. I think it's hard to like build like a product which people will like love deeply and stay with for a long time if this is just like a side hustle thing. This is not like an AI headshot kind of side hustle. Although, by the way, those apps make a whole bunch of money, so you should try that. I don't think there is like a side hustle version of Kondo which ends up being like a quality product long term. So yeah, we're both full time on it.
Well, that's cool. It's a nice bet. It seems to be paying off. And
Hmm.
I know that you are close to 1,000 customers,
Hmm.
and that you got like almost all of them through word of mouth
Hmm.
referrals, and that's quite huge. And I want to dive more into this.
Hmm.
So for people to understand how you got started, could you maybe guide us how you got first your 10 and 50 first customers, maybe?
Yeah, we while we were building our MVP, we recruited like 100 beta testers. Um, some of them are friends of friends, right? I when we first launched, we branded ourselves as Superhuman for LinkedIn because we took a lot of inspiration from their UI UX, right? So we actually like I emailed like Superhuman users and said, hey, you Superhuman want to try this thing out, right? Or like you go on LinkedIn and some people are very active, and then we checked if they're also Superhuman users. So I'd say like mixed bag of like ways to get beta testers. We didn't run it very systematically, but my goal was to build a list of 100 people who would actually like try the thing out. I think I would have done that differently going backwards. Like not all these people were ended up being very ICP for us. Some of them didn't really do LinkedIn messages that much or didn't think they were that important. So I didn't really qualify my beta testers. I just want people to try it. Um, you know, we're starting out. I was anxious that no one would use it. Like I was literally like a year ago, I was like, is anyone gonna pay for this thing? Like, what if all falls flat? What if do we shut it down in 6 months? That was like where I was at. So I was like kind of like desperate to get users. Um, and so that's how we got 100. And then we onboarded them one on one. And we 50 like I think we let it run for a month. And then at the end of the month, I mean, it was a beta test. It was a legitimate beta test where we were fixing bugs in the product, like getting into some kind of like minimal usability we felt like was what we wanted. And then we said, okay, we're going to charge for it. And I think we launched at $15 or something like that.
Yeah.
Um,
Still,
and and then like 50 people said yes. And in fact, some people bought an annual plan up front or something because they had been using
yeah.
it for a month and they knew they liked where this was going, right? And obviously, if you join a beta, you are like experimental, you like try new tools, you get the stuff. So yeah, that's how we got our first 50 customers.
Well, you said that the first batch was not really fitting your ICP, but half of them were, and they were paying already directly, even the annual plan right away. So in the end, 50% is not a bad rate for an ICP fit for a first batch, I think. But still,
Maybe, but like I don't know if I haven't tried this, but I what if we went back to them and said, "Would you pay 30, which is our current price? Would you pay 40, which is our business plan?" I'm not sure. We'll find out, but we'll find out when I go like get rid of legacy prices. But I also think it's not an expensive tool, and sometimes you just like buy tools that are fun. I think we've learned over time that yeah, it's not just like whether you buy it, but whether you will stick around. And you'll stick around only when you have like a problem big enough worth solving, and you'll put up with all the kind of like quirks of a new workflow and getting to a new habit and stuff like that, because you have a problem that if you don't have this thing, it doesn't magically go away and it costs you a lot of money to time to keep around.
yeah, well, the organic inbox is crap, so I think the problem is big enough for people that use it daily, like I
Hmm.
do. But I'm curious about the rest. Now that we got 50 customers,
Hmm.
I know the rest is only referrals. And I'm curious, but at this time, we were not fully self-serve, right? You were still doing the
Yeah.
onboarding call, I remember.
You would land on a landing page, you click like start free trial, and then you get like a calendar link, and then you book a call with me. Some people didn't want to book a call, we had drop off there. Um, and you book a call, and then you start with a 14-day trial, and then yeah, you would decide if you want to pay after that. So I was doing like a bunch of these calls every day.
And at the time, did you already have a clear ICP and a clear, like, you had already good start for the conversion rate, or that was really kind
I
of a
I,
new...
I I don't I don't even know if I'm a good ICP now. Like
Okay.
and that's in part for two reasons. One, because our market is very horizontal, and that's something I discovered, right? Like people would book call like you didn't need to at that time you didn't need to pay money to start. So like people would show up, and all sorts of people would show up, and yeah, we have like a fair mix of people in our user base now. There's some people who are like lawyers. There are some people who are like doctors. There are
Yeah.
people who are like niche content creators. Like we have someone who like is a dust safety, explosive dust safety expert. There is someone who helps pharmacists get better jobs. Right? There's someone, yeah. We have a whole mix of people, and that's because a lot of people get value off LinkedIn in different kind of like corners of the world. Um, and so yeah, I don't know how to define my ICP other than like you use LinkedIn a lot and your messages are important and you hit inbox. Obviously there are certain segments which are you know
Mm.
your usual suspects like founders, what salespeople, recruiters. Um, but yeah, there's a really long tail of people, and with financial advisors on our platform, right? Because like they reach out to people and say, "Hey, want help managing your money?" Um, yeah, it's hard to say where like what's the best bet for our growth segment wise.
Mm.
And I think that's a feature of like the product being so horizontal and also an inbound motion, right? If people want to show up and pay for your thing, like you're not gonna say, sorry, you're not ICP, you're not qualified, go away. Like they just swipe their credit card and you can do whatever you want, right? I mean, if you want to pay for it and use it, you can. And yeah, that's how we kind of got to where we are. Like people just told their friends. Like imagine how this goes, right? Like one guy is a financial advisor, and then they use the thing, and they're like, "Oh, this is cool," and then they're going to tell other financial advisors who are their friends, or in a WhatsApp chat or something like that. Or you're on a coaching program for like solopreneurs who are like starting out, right? You just quit your corporate job, you try and launch something on your own, and then you like it, and then you tell other people in your coaching program, or the coach tells you about it, and you know we get a bunch more people that way. So it's like little pockets of people with like like kind of warm connections, people you trust. Think about the people you're WhatsApping, right? The people in some Slack channel somewhere. Someone in there finds out about us, and then we spread a bit, and that's how we got all the people. Yeah.
But that's super powerful because I think, like, first, you're not positioned on an ICP, but on a use case and a problem. So that's really powerful because it resonates across every different segment. Everyone who's facing this problem with LinkedIn and wants to achieve this use case for this, managing DMs, etc., is looking at Kondo and seeing how valuable it is if they don't want a CRM, if they are like you in between. And the referral is really, like, it's the key to traction. If you get referrals, it means you get customers for free, and it means your product is good, you have a strong market fit. It's the proof of everything. So I think it's really a huge fit to start and get referrals so early on. So after this first 50 customers, everything is through referrals until 1,000?
Yeah, I mean, like, well, let's break down what referral means, right? Like, I mean, we're building a tool on LinkedIn. So our users, I mean, first, ever since like before we launched, I started posting very regularly on LinkedIn. So I'm sure like, you know, like there's some visibility there. But I was onboarding people, right? So I asked everyone. And I think like only sometimes would people say like, oh, I saw your post. It's usually I saw someone else's post or like my friend told me, right? So I'd say maybe like indirectly, whatever noise we're making on LinkedIn kind of percolates down into the audience. But yeah, I mean, people post. I think the fact that this is like a tool for messaging on a social platform also helps because if you like people, for example, this guy, I now know him. He's a friend now. His name's Dexter. He's like a YC founder. He's building this company called Human Layer. It's like a layer for AI agents, right? And he posted this thing on LinkedIn. He's like, "Hey, who's building the superhuman for LinkedIn, and where can I bring my wheelbarrow of cash, you know, to get it?" It's organic, right? We didn't ask him. He didn't even know we existed. He just wanted this thing, and then I was like, okay, here it is, cash, please. And then he was happy, and then he posted, oh, I found it, right? Like it turns out there is one, and then and this is a good example. It happened a few times. Every now and then, one of these superhuman users is like, "Oh my god, I wish I had this for my DMs," and then they post about it on LinkedIn, and we find them. So yeah, I guess that's kind of like the social platform boosts the organic traffic. So like I got one guy because he wanted something, but because this conversation was happening on this like public social platform, like other people see it as well. Another example is like some influencers are a good target for us because they have a big DM problem, right? Like you're a content creator, you get all these people asking, you know, can I sponsor you? How, like what are your rates? And then you should reply to them. So some creators just sign up on their own. We don't even chase them. They show up, they pay for the thing, they use the thing, they never talk to me. I'm okay with that. And then they're posting about something else. They're talking about DMs, about personal branding, something like that. And then they just happen to mention Kondo, and then someone shows up in the comments like, oh, what's that thing? um, and so I even had like there was one creator who made a YouTube video about like just DMs in general, or like how to get leads by running some kind of outbound scripts. And I would get we would get signups because people would say, "Oh, I watched that video and I saw
Yeah.
the guy using this tool, and he didn't say what it is." So I paused the video and I zoomed into the URL, and I was like, "Well, what is this thing?" And then I copied the URL and I typed it in, and that's how I found your app, and that's it, right? So yeah, it's not there are like different paths of referrals, but I think like the public persona of a lot of our users helps, right? Like they tend to like talk and on the platform or on social platforms in general. And yeah, that's like an advantage of building a LinkedIn business. You should take advantage of it, right?
Yeah, that's the advantage, yeah, on being horizontal, linked to social, and I think that's the traction also comes from how easy to understand the value proposition. Everyone who uses LinkedIn sees the problem kind of quickly, even if they don't really need to solve it. And those who need, I mean, they know when to refer Kondo. It's quite easy to understand the use case and the use. And there is not many competitors like you. I don't think you have any direct ones yet. I'm not sure, but you probably have like thousands of, not thousands, but a couple of famous influencers in your customer base. And I'm curious about how you think this virality, like I understand that it's a social platform, people like to refer it when they like a good product. But do you think there are other aspects of Kondo that makes people want to refer it?
I think it's like an emotional kind of moment, right? Like if you are frustrated with your DMs, it's like it's really annoying and you really hate it, and probably wonder why like LinkedIn's not doing anything. It's like painful to miss messages. It's painful to like have to like go keep track of things somewhere else. Your time's like becomes more valuable as your business grows, and you're like, why the hell am I doing this spreadsheet thing? Why the hell am I scrolling, like spending so much time scrolling in? So I think there's like some kind of emotional catharsis when you're like, oh, this thing that was really shit, right? Like suddenly became like better. Like people DM me. So when you sign up for Kondo, I send you a connect request. And I
I
usually
know.
don't say any. I usually don't say anything, and then some people are like, "Hey, DMs are actually fun now. You know, I actually have fun doing my DMs, and that's like not something I thought I would ever have said." Right. So I think that it's like an emotional moment, and like that fuels like people sharing about it. It's also like we've also tried to build kind of like a fun, lighthearted brand, poking fun at LinkedIn all day. So I mean, I think yeah, work is boring. Like you know, building a business can be like hard, and you have to go buy all these tools, and some of these tools are pretty hard to figure out, right? And usually you have like some shopping problem, like there are 10 tools, which one do I choose? I have to read the reviews, ask my friends and all that stuff. There are all these like it feels kind of annoying to like go do like these parts of your business and get the right setup. But when you have found, and often tools are shitty, right? Like you pay and then like they don't work, they don't whatever, some and then you get upset, but you've already paid for it. Too bad. It's hard to get a refund sometimes, etc. And so I think Kondo brings some kind of like you know uh play into work, right? It's like we've made DMs into something you can laugh about, you can like talk about, and it's like um you know, like that there's no like kind of random bullshit or you know, like hair pulling here. You just sign up, your messages show up, you kind of know what to do. You kind of go a bit crazy labeling them. Like people will show up and they'll be like, "Oh, oops, I made 15 labels and you know, I made too many," right? And then there are all these fun interactions, I'd say, that are both in the product itself, but also like in the brand around it, right? At one point, I was doing so many calls, so I was like kind of behind on responding to customers when they had questions and stuff like that. And so one guy would show up in the comment section of my post and be like, "Hey, go check your DMs. I heard you have a tool for that." Um, and so there are all these like really human moments where you experience a brand, but in kind of like a fun, kind of whimsical way, while still solving like a real problem you have. So I think that helps. We could have built it like very like boring if we were like, let's say, selling to marketing agencies, or we were focused on agencies. We'd sell this slightly differently. Like we'd be like, yo, agencies, like, you know, like you got 10 people, you make X amount of money, do you want to make X, like 2X money? You should get this thing, it'll solve all your problems. So, you know, we build an agency before we understand it, something like that. I think you can make, like, there are people who sell these solutions and make a lot more money than we do, but we've chosen to be like, you know,
Yeah.
hey, are your DMs shit? If they're not, it's fine. If they are, try this thing. Right. Yeah.
It shows how powerful it is to have like a specific problem and a specific like sharp pinpoint to aim for. I really
Uh-huh.
believe like the more I work with founders, the traction is really coming from aiming a frustration. That's how you get sales quickly and easily. And then making people happy, making them spread the word is kind of the key to that. Making a short commercial break to remember to subscribe, depending on you're watching this on YouTube or listening on Spotify. Remember to subscribe and like if you can, so that I can get some reach and Mitchell can get some love for taking his time and sharing his learning. Thanks a lot. Have a good day. Back to the episode. And just to go back to your growth and how it got so far, how you got, like, you handled the call for how long? How long did you handle all the calls? I think staying close to customers is the key, and you did it. But I know you're kind of stopping right now because people can pay by themselves. So what's the current funnel to use Congo?
We ran onboarding calls for a couple of months, right? Like one-on-one calls. I think we onboarded like the first 2,000 users personally. And there was free trial then, so a lot of them didn't convert. But at some point, like when I felt that I had, you know, I understood like user psychology and how people onboarded enough. You know, I said, hey, why don't we like make a video and like, you know, like funnel you the video and see what happens. So we put a button. It started by, there was like a calendar booking page, and then there was like a button at the bottom that said like, you know, skip the call if you skip the call if you hate them. You know, watch this video instead. And so you click that button. You go to a page with video, and then you watch the video, and then there's another button that says I'm done. Right, like let's go. So I'd say we gave people a choice with like still a default to booking a call, but obviously when you give people a easier way in, most people take that path. So I still got calls, so just a lot less. And then another step was like, now it's the other way around. So by default, we like chuck the video in your face and then you have to watch it. And only if you really want is there like a button somewhere there that's like book a call if you want. So yeah, I think the point at which we stopped like defaulting to a call is when we felt like for each additional call we would take, we didn't learn that much more, right? Like I was, yeah, like basically I didn't gain that much by like doing the call in terms of like insight into our user. Like it probably helped the user get set up, but the delta between that and a video might not have been that big in some cases. And it was definitely like I didn't walk away from the day going like, oh, all these things are going to change in our product or onboarding flow because of these things I've learned, right? And that's one. And then also like there's just like a limit. Like let's say you go on board 10 people a day, 20 people a day, or whatever it is, you have a drop off rate also. There are only so many people you can acquire a week, right? So as we scale, we need to like get more signups per week. And if we got some numbers, we couldn't even handle all the calls. I need to get someone else to do a call. I need to do a group call or something like that, which complicates it. And Yeah, and also I didn't have time to work on anything else, right? I would just be doing calls all week.
Because in total you had like 2,000 customers if you include the non-paying one, the free ones,
Mhm.
and 1,000 paying ones so far.
Yeah, I think the total signups must be like more like 3 or 4 thousand now. And
Okay.
then probably like February, my call volume dropped quite a bit, and then like this week I have like 15, 20 calls.
It's 20 calls per week with new customers on your prospect, on your own
Customers like so now you either now there are two ways to get in. Um, you pay up front, or you sign up with someone's referral link, which like you can only get if your friend who's a customer referred you.
Okay.
And in either case, you pick a pricing plan, you add a card. If referral link gives you your first month free, and then you get a chance to book a call if you want.
Okay, I wanted
And
to ask more about that, yeah. So now you cut the free trial, you ask them to pay up front. How did you decide to make this choice to stop doing the free trial?
how did we make a choice to stop the free trial? So I think, okay, so I guess we let the free trial run for a while and we got a sense of what the conversion rate is. So like I think for every four signups, one converted. So like 25% people converted to paid. But the funnel is like, yeah, you sign up, no credit card, 14 days, and then at the end you either lose access or you put your credit card. So the question is like, okay, that's okay, but then why are the 3 out of 4 not converting, right? And I think a lot of them, I sampled some of them and like asked, and some people just don't have enough DMs to need this thing. And if that was true, then they shouldn't have signed up in the first place, right? Like you don't need to sign up the product to learn that you don't have enough DMs to need a tool for it, right?
Hmm.
But I mean, it was free and it's like low friction, so it's cool. So you go, you know, find that shiny thing, and then um, you have some questions in the trial, but then you had no intention of ever paying for it. So that's one. Um, like we didn't want to like support people who weren't ever gonna pay for the thing, right?
Hmm.
Um, so that's one. And then second, um, some people do have a problem, but then they're like, "Oh, I signed up. I was really busy. It's a 2 week trial. I came back on week two. I played around for it a bit. I got busy again, and then I forgot all about it. And actually, I could really use this. And then maybe sometimes they come back a month later or something like that. But like, I just didn't get active. Like, it didn't like I didn't build the habit of it. So habit formation takes a longer time, and it's like a new workflow. It's a new surface you go to. How do we encourage that? Obviously, like we try and work on the onboarding flow and stuff, but also maybe it takes time, right? So by getting people committed for a month, we get like a month for them to get activated. That's the theory. And secondly, like you paid for it. So, like you're like, okay, I paid for this thing, better go figure out how to use it, right? It's like how when you
Hmm.
go buy some like new tool for your house, like something new for a kitchen, a gadget or something like that, you go use it because you just bought it, right? And
Yeah.
you want to like, and then maybe later you stop using it or something because you didn't really need it. But there's like this kind of like initial kind of psychological pressure to go use the thing
Yeah.
you paid for. And so, um, yeah, I think for those reasons, we decided it's worth trying. Like, what happens if we get rid of free trial? Would we, if we simply lost the people who weren't going to pay anyway, then great, right? Or how much would what would be the trade-off here? And so far, it's worked out okay. I think the numbers suggest that,
That's
yeah, the
nice.
numbers are like good enough so that we won't, it doesn't feel sensible to ever go back. I mean, some weeks will be good and some weeks will be bad, but like on the whole, the numbers suggest that this motion can work. Like we don't need a free trial. And obviously we'll lose some people anyway, but like we lost people anyway for all sorts of reasons. And some people come back and they'll come back later. And also we have a referral funnel. So maybe you don't want to pay up front, but then you see us again and some friend sends you a link and you get in then.
I think that's super interesting because first that allows you to focus more on those who actually are going to pay for the tool. And psychologically, as you said, it's a kind of a leverage to where people adopt the tool quickly or at least efficiently. But that also is because the source of those customers are mostly referrals. So it means that they have already a kind of a basis of a trust, at least some kind of trust and some kind of understanding of the value of the tool. in order for them to pay upfront and not need any more nurturing, so if you use the marketing terms. So that's really interesting. As also the strength of being the only solution like yours on this, and to have this referral going on. And I'm curious about the referral program because you mentioned that now you can invite people and they get a month for free.
Mhm.
So when did you set this up, and what do people who share the links get? What's the
Yeah.
reward?
So it's like you give 1 month free, and you get 1 month free for every friend you refer if
Okay.
they hadn't previously signed up before, obviously. Um, and we launched at the same time as the pay upfront funnel. Um, we already had some kind of like some people, like if you're like a coach or something, you ask us, hey, can I get like a discount for my people? So we already did something like that in the past, kind of like manually. But then we decided to go build it as a feature. And so now there's like a button, like if you go into Kondo and you as you're going through your messages, if someone is not a Kondo user, you get a button on the right that says refer, right? Get 1 month free. And then like if you press that button, it drops a message and you can send a message with a link and then they use it. And um it is not like a exactly a free trial, right? I mean, you are getting like you pick a plan and you get all the features of that plan for the whole month, right? And you just pay at the end of it, or you can cancel, right? But you
Mm,
are subscribing to Condo just with a free month. So
mm,
yeah, I think what we basically did was we got rid of like a default free trial for everyone, thereby increasing the value of like what a referral is. Like this is the only way you
mm.
can get in without paying upfront. And also I feel like it kind of makes the product more it makes a product more valuable. Like I did a video once where I said like, hey, if you want like a tool for everything. If you want like there are often people showing up say, oh, I want a tool that does everything on LinkedIn. I want you to do like content stuff and like DMs and everything. And we're not that, right? We're like laser focused on one problem, and if you really have it and you need like a really good tool for this one problem, you get it. And so I think Condo is the kind of tool where already it's not an everyone tool. Not everyone needs it. Very few people, in fact, very few people need it. Very few people, it doesn't make sense to pay for something like that, right? And so if you're that person, like it's not crazy to just try the thing for a month and see if it really solves your problem because it's a big problem for you. And
Mm.
if it doesn't work out, what's the worst that could happen? Like you say, you yell at me, you ask for a refund, or it's $30, right? Like you move on. It's not
Okay.
insane. If you're running a business, your business makes money, your time is valuable. Like you buy tools to buy back your time, right? And like I do that. Like I buy tools all the time, which I end up not using on the bet that it might work out, right? And that's fine. I just like cancel after month one and walk away, right? So I think it just changes like the brand positioning a bit, right? We're not this like every one tool, and the pricing structure kind of reflects that, right?
Right.
Where for the people who are like, this is a problem worth solving, and if it solves it for me, it would be worth like thousands, tens of thousands of dollars of time saved. And yeah, and for those people, they actually pay upfront. And some people even sign up for the whole year upfront. I was surprised. Like we put a paywall there. It, there's annual option with a discount, and there's a monthly option. And I thought, well, most people just like go monthly and press the lowest price and try it, right? But
Mm.
some people just buy the whole year upfront. I'm like, what? Like, why would you do that? And that's because they've seen enough marketing. They're convinced that like they're like, I'm not going back to LinkedIn inbox, so whatever this is should be better. And relative to what my business is making, a couple $100
Yeah.
is not a lot. Yeah.
I like three things here. I like that you know clearly what your tool is not. I mean, what Kondo is not. It's not a CRM. It's not for automation, for outreach, or for content. You're really clear on what you do and what you don't. I think that makes you really specific, and it strengthens your positioning quite clearly.
Mhm.
I like that I can put now my referral link in the description so for people who want to use Kondo, so I can have a free month. Thank you. Use the link below. No, but seriously, I like that also you put the referral program because you realize that your strength was the referral going on, how people refer Kondo, and you wanted to accelerate it kind of and incentive more, align with your business objectives. So that's really clever to put on. And I'm curious about what's next. What are you going to implement? Do you have big steps on your roadmap that you're okay sharing?
Yeah, I think we are probably at point in the product roadmap where there's like there's kind of like a hard fork. It's not like a one-way door, but like the hard decision is always like, do we build like things for growth or do we build like core product features? Why is that a fork now? Because clearly, like the product's like complete enough to like where we can sell it, and it's not like we have sold it to everyone who can buy it yet, right? Like we have like big kind of like upside here is like distribution, and so we could invest engineering in like more things in the product, like referral links, for example, that will like help the product grow. They benefit our users in some ways, but not as much as like a core product feature. But hey, we're building this around a business. We built a tool. It works well enough for you to justify $30, $40, whatever. And so it's fair game, right? Like it's a PLG company,
Mm.
right? Like the whole point of PLG company is for your product to drive growth. And so like, yeah, and we are at a point where we could like do nothing but invest in like growth features or growth mechanics. But we also think that, there are other things we want to show up in Kondo. For example, what we're working on now is like like it's live in the product. I just haven't announced it. But if you go press start a new message, so you hit compose in Kondo, in the past you just have to you can search for someone like this name, right? I can search for like Kevin or Jimmy or whatever, and it'll find the Kevins and Jimmys I can send a message to. Now, when you hit compose, you'll see a list of your recent connections. So you'll see who just accepted your request or you accepted their request today, yesterday, 2 days ago, whatever, a whole bunch of them, right? And then you can now start a message from within Kondo to recent connections, which is a workflow you might want. So, and then we're going to build on that a bit more, but there are things like there are bits of the workflow that we still think belong in Kondo rather than LinkedIn because it's kind of like really inefficient there. And yeah, we might work on those. But again, like it's like a like it's probably like a month by month thing where we're like, like, do we want to like give our users some more functionality or like do we owe it ourselves to like drive more growth to the product?
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. Well, time will tell. I can't wait to see how it goes. I have one last question for you, Mitchell,
Mhm.
and that is if you had to start from scratch again, is there anything you would do differently? Why and how?
Let me think. Yeah, like as I said, I think we kind of like probably went around like beta recruiting the wrong way, and that's probably because we were relatively new to this and hadn't recruited individual users for a product before. I think I would have I would basically I would rather get like 30 people who would say, if this thing works, I'll pay you $50, right? As like a, if this thing works, then like you take my money. If not, you give it back, right? I would rather take like less of those than 100 people who are like maybe, maybe not, right? So I think building early and then also deciding who we're not building for early. Like one side adventure we had was there are some agencies who manage many, many, many inboxes. Like one
Hmm.
guy manages like 10 inboxes, or they have like complicated setups where they have like a proxy and like they're logging to someone else's account from some kind of server or something like that, or they get like a ridiculous amount of messages, like there are people getting like 1,000 messages a day or something. And we spent a lot of time trying to like patch our infrastructure to make the tool work smoothly for them, but they're only like 0.001% of the people who ever sell to will be them. So I think we probably made a mistake, kind of like not saying like, hey, there's some use cases we just don't support. Like some people have inbox problems, but they have like some unique setup where that's not us, right?
Yeah.
And I think we should have like caught that earlier on. Like we are so enthusiastic to like solve everyone's inbox problems, right? But some inbox problems we cannot solve, and spending time on them like takes away from us like solving the problems of like the 90% of users. So that's one thing I do. Like there's two things I do differently. Like find the most serious potential users up front, um, like decide who we're not serving, and then just like stop. Um, there are probably some like engineering learnings as well, like but we don't have to get into that. I think basically we've built products before. We haven't built a messaging product before, and we haven't built a product that involves like LinkedIn stuff before, and all of that has been like a trip. So if I were to ever do this again for now LinkedIn tool or a messaging tool, then I think we'd definitely be able to move faster next time because we have seen like a version of the problems once.
Okay, very interesting. Thanks for sharing. Actually, I lied. I forgot. I have two more questions. I'm going to be very quick, which is what do you recommend? What advice do you give to founders and startups out there that are trying to get traction? That's how you successfully got with how many referrals you got. Do you have any advice for them?
Build a painkiller and then like build a very good painkiller. I think that's like it's so easy to like hack to get to vibe code like all sorts of products nowadays that on one hand the barrier to entry to building a SaaS product is like lower, but I don't think I think the bar to build like a good enough product is higher because if your thing is like okay, then like why can't I vibe code it myself? Why do I have to pay you to like build it, maintain it, improve it, right? Um, so your product needs to be like good enough so that like some of our users are like engineers, whatever, right? And they in adjacent fields, they run like AI agencies, they run outbound agencies, they're technical. And then some of these companies ask me, hey, like why can't I just build your thing? And I'm like, you can't. It's a free world. Go build it. But do you really want it? Like, and I even tell you, it will probably take you X engineers, X months. You can go do it. Like it's fine. But it's but I think we've thought about it enough, we've like invested enough in design, we've like gone through like random nonsense problems so that we built something that's like you cannot vibe code Kondo, or if you can, please try, right? And so I think my advice would be like build something where the bar like you clear some bar, your minimum viable experience bar is like this feels like pretty cool. And if I spend the next 5 hours trying to build it, I wouldn't like encounter so many problems that I would just give up and just buy your thing instead. Right. And so I think about product that way. Like what is the bar you need to clear where like people would give up trying to build it themselves? And yeah, there's like depth to it. Like as people get into like trying to like think about how to build your product, they'll realize that there's all this labor you've done in the background, right? That they don't want to do because they got other things to do in their life, like build their own business, right? And so I think
Yeah,
going the extra mile like makes a difference nowadays because everyone has their own software.
because how fast it is, how easy it is now to get to replicate some technology. It's nice to have some barriers at least for the minimum entry to make sure you have at least some kind of edge to prove that it's worth paying for it. And of course, playing a painkiller, of course, the must do. Otherwise, it's just something that nobody wants to buy. So, good advice. Thank you, Mitchell. Just to end this episode, what do people need to do if they want to try Kondo and follow you?
Yeah, it's trycondo.com, right? And then obviously I'm on LinkedIn, so look for me, Mitchell Tan. I have a red post box next to my name, so you can find me that way. And yeah, I mean, hit me up and tell me like how bad your DMs are.
Well, thank you, Mitchell, for your time. That was great. I was really insightful. I love all the lessons you had here. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, happy to be here.
I hope you enjoyed this episode with Mitchell. That was, for me, really interesting. He showcases everything I advocate for, from how to build a product out of a pain he had himself, build a painkiller, target a frustration, and aim for referrals, try to incentive them. So really, all the lessons I like to share on how to build your own category, kind of. So I hope you enjoyed. Remember to like and subscribe to the Spotify, YouTube, or follow us on LinkedIn as well. Thanks a lot, and let me know who you'd like to have next on Traction Stories, and I hope that you learned some tips on how to get traction for your SaaS. Have a great day. See you soon. Bye bye.